Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nasalli ala rasulihil kareem. So alhamdulillah, we finish all of the Jumla Ismiya. And after Jumla Ismiya, we then addition to Jumla Ismiya. Then we then Jumla Fi'liya. And now we're doing addition to Jumla Fi'liya. So we got all the main slots in. We put all the slots in. The Fa'il, Fa'il, and Naibul Fa'il, Maf'ul Bihi Thanin. Then we have the Maf'ul Mutlaq, Maf'ul li Ajlihi. Correct? Then we have Hal, Tamyiz, Mustasna. Correct? So our slots are all complete. We have them all in place. Okay, so if you look at here, all our slots, there are no more slots to add. But there's a few things we can just modify here and there. So our slots are complete. Now we can just play around with these slots to give a few more meanings, a few more additions here and there. So the first thing I want to mention is that usually this is a structure. Fa'il comes first, Fa'il comes second, Maf'ul Bihi comes third, this comes fourth, and after that this is a bit loose in how you put this order. A bit loose, but one thing definitely is, this is a bit loose. This normally comes at the end, usually almost like 90% of the time, that would be the last part. So that's our structure. Fa'il, or Naibul Fa'il, because you saw the same thing basically, yes? Then Maf'ul Bihi Thanin. After that we're loose, and wherever you have, what will come right at the end, the Mustasna. Are you following me? This is how the structure of the sentence usually works. But Arabic is very, very loose in terms of its sentence structure. Okay? The reason being is that, for example, if I say, I think I said this to you before already. If I say, I ate the cake. Or let's take out I. Let's say here, Ahmad ate the cake. Yes? What does that mean? Ahmad ate the cake. Okay? And if I say, the cake ate Ahmad. What does that mean? You've got killer cakes on the loose. It's like horror movie, people running around cakes, eating up people. Yes? You can't do this in English, can you? We can't say, oh, I meant that this is the subject, this is the object really, and this is the subject, but I put it this way for this to make it sound better or to make it rhyme. You can't do that. In Arabic, if I said, for example, if I say, Zaydan. Why is it Zaydan? Daraba Muhammadun. What's mansub? Zaydan, what's mansub in a sentence? The fa'il or the maf'ul bihi? So is that wrong? Is that okay? It's okay because I want to say Muhammad hit Zayd. So I can change the order around, can't I? Why? Because the Zaydan and Muhammadun, the Dhamma, Fatha, the I'rab will tell us who's the fa'il, who's the maf'ul bihi. Now, so Arabic poetry is so easy. You can like change it around, or you can add more rhyme. You can make it easy to rhyme because you can add the things at the beginning, at the end, because the I'rab will tell us who's the subject, who's the object. In English, if I change it around, we get horror movies or cakes eating up people. Do you understand what I'm saying? In English, you can put the maf'ul bihi first in Arabic because it's got a fatha. So because the fatha, we know it's maf'ul bihi. It doesn't matter where you bring it. It's maf'ul bihi because the fatha, it's mansub state. Do you understand? Now, based on this, the sentence order is very, very loose. I mean, you have a structured, normal structure, fa'il, naibul fa'il, maf'ul bihi thani, and right at the end you get the mustasna. That's a standard. But you can change it around for many reasons. One reason is, for example, to create emphasis. Look at these three sentences. What's the difference between three sentences? Muslims worship Allah, number one. It is Allah whom Muslims worship, and Muslims worship only Allah. Analyze, tell me what's happening here in the three sentences. Which one's getting emphasis? All of them. Yeah, the second two, this is normal. This is normal. And these two are what? Emphatic. They are what? What are they? They're emphatic, they have emphasis. Why? Because we change the structure around here. We add the word only here. So what does this do now? These words in English creates an emphasis. What do? They create an emphasis. Are you following me? Okay? So in Arabic, if you bring a part of the sentence before its usual place, it creates emphasis. What's the rule? If you bring any part of a sentence, before its original place, what does it do? It creates what? Emphasis. Are you following me? Do you understand? Yes? So if you bring the maf'ul bihi before its original place, you bring what? you bring the maf'ul fi before its original place. You bring the maf'ul mutlaq before its original place. What happens now? This creates, it now change the focal, becomes the focal point. So for example, look, we have one sentence here. Ya'budul muslimun Allah. What do we have? Ya'budul muslimun Allah. We have fa'il, fa'il and maf'ul bihi. If we change it around to Ya'budullah al-muslimuna, what have we brought first? We brought Ya'budun after Ya'budu, we brought the fa'il and the maf'ul bihi. How do you know it's maf'ul bihi? Because it has a fatha. We brought the maf'ul bihi first. By bringing the maf'ul bihi first, what have we created emphasis on? The word Allah. And one step further, Allah ya'budul muslimun. We've even created more emphasis. We brought the maf'ul bihi from here all the way to the beginning of the sentence. Do you understand? But we still know the meaning because of the i'rab. The fatha, dhamma, kasra, the waw, alif, ya, noon, all of these things shows the i'rab. So we're able to change the order of the sentence. And whatever you bring earlier, the earlier you bring it, what happens? It creates emphasis. Okay? Yes? So in this example, so if you go back here, we will say, for example, this means the Muslims worship Allah simple. And these two have emphasis. And which one has more emphasis? The last one, because you brought Allah first, absolutely first. So you can say here, the Muslims worship Allah only. And this one, it is Allah alone, or it is Allah only who the Muslims worship. You have to add in these words to create the emphasis in the translation. Are you following me? Right. Okay? Now when you bring that particle first, you want to emphasize the maf'ul bihi, for example. You want to emphasize the maf'ul fi, for example. You want to emphasize the maf'ul mutlaq, etc., etc. What you do now is you bring that part where, later or earlier. Where do you bring it? Earlier. When you bring it earlier, what happens now? It creates emphasis. Now you have to add this additional note. What you have to bring the additional note as? Muqaddam. So for example, you say, maf'ulun bihi wa muqaddam. Maf'ulun fi muqaddam. You have to add this additional note. What's it called? Muqaddam. That means what? Fronted. Brought earlier. Do you understand? The fronted or the that has been brought earlier. Do you understand? So for example here you say, this is fa'il. I got it wrong, sorry. This is a mistake here. This is what? This is fa'il. This is what? Fa'il. And this is maf'ulun bihi. Yes? But then what happens here? What do you have to label this as? Muqaddam. The fronted maf'ul bihi. The maf'ul bihi that has been brought first. And why do we do this? To create what? Emphasis. No, you don't label it. You don't have to label it. Okay? And how you translate this? If you look up and if you Google it, look on different grammar websites, they have different ways. Some will say you add italics or bold, you underline it, you underline or you add italics. That's a light way of doing it. Another way is you change the whole structure. Like for example, it is Allah who the Muslims worship. The whole structure is changed there. Or you add the word only before the emphasized element. So you want to emphasize Allah, you add only there. The Muslims worship only Allah. So different ways of creating emphasis. This is with English. There's no one fixed way of doing it. Does everybody understand? Okay. Subhanallah bihamdi subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.